So week 4 question 8 asks, how many tulips should Lucy order if she expects to sell at a profit target level of $1,000 per week? So essentially what the question is asking us here is, what is our target volume given certain fixed costs, given certain target profit, and given unit margin? So we need to calculate the totals here, here, and here. So there's essentially 3 steps to the question in order to come up with the answer. Let's get started. So the first step in the process is for us to go ahead and calculate our unit margin. And to do that, we need to take into consideration all of the variable costs that are listed here. So we've got salespeople that receive a 10% commission on selling price. So right there we know that selling commission per tulip is going to be 20 cents. Sorry, I'm saying tulips, they're roses. Each rose costs 35 cents. There's a variable cost. Air freight is 15 cents and duty is 10 cents. There's tax that requires 6% of the selling price to be remitted to the government, and we're going to absorb that cost. We're not going to pass it along to the customer. We're not going to make them pay anymore. So if we're going to absorb it, it also becomes a variable cost. So 6% of $2 is tax of 12 cents. Okay, so we've got all kinds of variable costs that we need to add up. We have all kinds of fixed costs. Let's move on to the next slide. So here's just a recap of our variable costs. So we know that our salespeople were 10% of our selling price and sales commission, which we decided was 20 cents. The cost of the roses we decided was 35 cents. Freight was 15 cents, duty was 10, and tax was 12. So when you add all of that up together, our total variable costs are equal to 92 cents per rose. Every time you see a cost that is expressed per unit, it's going to be a variable cost. So your selling price in this case was $2. We've decided variable costs were 92, therefore our unit margin is $1.08. Okay, we're going to need that for the next step, so keep that number in mind. Next step in the process is to calculate your total fixed cost. So we know that we had a sales manager salary of $300 per week, promotions of $500, car and gas maintenance of $100 per week. And we know that Lucy allocated her cost. She knows that she makes about $30,000 a year. And she spends about 25% of her time working on the rose business, which means that in a year she's going to charge the rose business $7,500 per year for her salary. Now, mind you, everything else is expressed in weeks, so we're going to assume a 52-week year here and divide 52 into 7,500 for that 144 per week that you see here. So when you tally all of these fixed costs together, you're going to get a total of 1,044. So keep that number in mind. Now back to the original formula. Target volume is equal to fixed costs, which we just decided was 1,044. Our target profit is 1,000 according to the case. We're going to divide all that by our unit margin that we calculated at $1.08 for a total of 1893 units. Don't forget that that's all calculated per week. So 1893 units per week in order to make that target profit. That's what she's going to have to sell.